Greetings from the Hostage Diaries. Today I am going to discuss many variable topics as usual. I've got a striking dilemma as far as the inability to motivate or the resources to generate any momentum energy towards because my energies are usurped in these various channels. So therefore, they leave me nothing. Don't rightly have any source or any parameters of escape. So I am trying to conduct a historical survey into the capitulation, capitalization of where I might. Well, it's all a documentary and historical marker for me being able to justify the wasted years and years and years it's the legality of the scams seems to be the majority of why I am held in this bubble check, because they need a hostage. This is not like some sort of, they cannot justify their math. So I am this math, it's like that Jurassic, I'm telling you, it really is. In Jurassic Park, they had to fill in the gaps. But instead, what they've done is, and there was a film done, which I know I pay for. They do not like reality. They hate reality. They want to, it's the don't rip the mask off the Lone Ranger's face sort of mentality. But in actuality, the Lone Ranger is a stick-up artist, a hold-up guy. Airhead, the Lone Ranger, Rangers. The problem is, the film was, it was just like Jurassic Park, but it was with a bunch of giant chickens. And I pay for that egg bowl, which is in actuality goes back to the Mort for Mort thing, and this being on the Mort channel, which is derived from, like I said before. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Robin Williams, and then also the notoriety of the ET phone home, but my family has been brainwashed because my genetics were hacked. In order to shrink me down, the process was they had to brainwash the entire family to be small. And so therefore, we had to think very, very neighborhood, boys in the hood, micro perspective, rather than, that's why my names are desecrated in order to facilitate the transition, the genetic, it's like the island of Dr. Moreau. They're taking a creature and they're splicing me into many, many parts. The problem is, these parts are not facilitating my mission, or not facilitating what I need to accomplish. So therefore, my basis of power, or my basis of genetic structure, has been decimated to where nothing exists, which is very, very dangerous. So, Paul Blart Molotov, what they are. They're relying upon this accumulation of mercantile consumerism as their validation, rather than the reality of competently managing the land. Which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's like anything else. It's like in the Army. There are all levels of general all the way down to private, and everything in between. There are all levels of types of law. There are variables. There's lawyers. There's police. There's EMS. There's all sorts of things. Then there's the mall cops, neighborhood security. And what they've done is they've transformed us, who we should be like one of the alpha. That's why Louisiana is sitting ducks. The joke of Duck Dynasty. Well, there's many jokes of Duck Dynasty. Duck Soup Dynasty, Duck Soup Kitchen, which is the joke. And they even had They even cleared out all of the underneath the bridge people. There's a bridge house for homeless people in Louisiana, and the kidnappers that have hacked me. Obviously, the cops are involved in Louisiana, no doubt about it. I mean, they're directly involved. Goes back to one of my ex-girlfriends that ended up marrying a guy, an EG, Trip EG, that was whose parents are police in New Orleans. And so the joke is they keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller to where they just completely erase me out of the picture, to where I don't even get my turn before they get a turn at that trick. But I still pay for it. It comes out of my bank. Little brothers. The EG is an interesting thing. The being a as far as a variable. And they get affected in certain places. So the mall cops accumulate all this material goods, and they have to. So what they've done is they've turned us into a bunch of security, as neighborhood security. Well, actuality, we produce a lot of badges, and we're used in the energy of the badge. It goes back to practical magic. When they make the thing about the talisman of the sheriff's badge being magic, and so that's probably one of the reasons I'm here. And they're building a new police station, and I'm the beauty shop for everything. I mean, we're talking about trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in this beauty shop that nobody pays anything on. It's free, and yet they do not. That's where the cops are crooked. It's because of these fake credit cards. And the cops are involved as far as the mob allows the cops to partake. And this is one of the ways that the cops are smart bribery. So yeah, they're building a new police. So the pride of the police, as far as they wanted I'm their big trophy, I guess you would say, because of my global power. As far as, so by destroying my life is so pathetic that every police officer has a better life than me. This is a bribe. This is the mob bribe, who is trying to play the free religion card on one side, and then play. And this is also a bribe for many, many levels. This really is. This is a bribe. And this is also directly. Well, it goes into that civic. So they're building a new police station on Tybee, but they're also in Baton Rouge. There's the Coco connection. I got fired from Fleming's from a guy named Coco, who's a chef. And then there's a Coco Sunset Grill, like Fred's Sunset Grill, Fred's Hamburger. But the Fred's at LSU, they're a bunch of juices. Those are the juices. And they have squeezed me my entire life. They wasted the entire day and now they're trying to midnight rider. They don't want to pay anything, zero. They don't want it. That's what they're going at. They don't want to grow anything. All they're going to do is they're looting. They just had a party and they're looting the house, and they're not growing anything. All they're going to do is loot and pillage. So no crops have been grown. Anything that is grown, the representational value is then derived into these independent farms. They're independent, and so therefore they can be easily wiped out. It's probably the lesson of the IGA here on Tiger. Well, Louisiana has a bunch of independents. They're Duck Sioux City, Duck Sioux Dynasty. So Paul BLArt Montauk, which I pay for, is Kevin James. Probably why another reason I'm home alone all the time with all these sacred, almighty country club McMansion gods and goddesses of the world. Travelers Insurance also. Yeah, the Kevin James, my stepbrother, who was valedictorian in my high school, worked for NASA, now works for Raytheon, who excommunicated my stepfather, which I pay for by being a loyal dog and excommunicate my family because I'm too weak to travel. I'm not allowed the mobility, that Pegasus mobility for all the gods and goddesses. Yeah, so the reality of it, that's reality. And that's the funny part about their work. that's, again, the whole crazy notion of it. And I'm going to get into this. All leads into why I am being tortured crazy. That's the basis of this lecture today, is the methods and the motives of torturing me crazy. Try to inflict that permanent marks, brain damage, mental damage in order to, is a BLArt art creator. It's like, well, you take an area that's a big field and you put houses and a mall and then you need somebody to guard it. That's what they're talking about here. Kevin James being this creationist, but the reality of their wealth and the reality is just not applicable, but they tie into a bigger picture network. But they're still not necessarily cohesive to the accountability. So Kevin James, yeah, like I said. And so, well, then that's where you get into the Kevin McAllister. Home Alone. So it's Home Alone, star, bro, as bro, which ties into Wizards of the Coast, which is a huge, that's where the Matrix is. That's the Matrix. The Wizards of the Coast is the Matrix, as far as all the creation. So I create the monsters who then attack me because they are so proud. They do not, they want to emancipate themselves. They want to be independent. So they use the ideology. And that's, once again, I was born in Washington, Paris. So they're going to use everything against me. That's a real bully there. And they're trying to call it disease. To where, oh, my body turned against me. And they make me waste the entirety of my natural life suffering with torture while they're trying to create, because they want, this is how crazy my kidnappers really are. And how much of a hate crime this really is. They want to make sure that I suffer as much as, if I didn't, because I did not kill myself. Like I was supposed to kill myself, and I did not. So the stalker kidnappers, because if I kill myself, my brain, what they had used the hack to brainwash my family small. Then they were going to chop off the head and then continue on the path. Because of immediate death, then that would continue the path in respect of death. So then they would have all my family in these little zoo bubbles to where they could use, and yet they knew who they are. I don't know who knows what. I'd like to know that. But then there is a lot of global power. So it's like a bunch of magic crystals or something like that. Honestly, that's what it is. Magic crystals that we were going to be used for, like Land of the Lost, or Crystal Hefner, which I pay for Hugh Hefner, of course. Lots and lots of. Yeah, they hate beauty. And they want to surround me with this hideous and nasty. So the torture is, and this all goes back to the almighty Omega's tattoo and the interpretation. It's criminal interpretation. It's like you can have a gun, but you don't have to shoot somebody. But what they've done is the interpretation is pointing and pulling the trigger in the criminal intent. So they have taken this, and because it is done in the shadows, it's done in the matrix, the duality worlds of body and the electric grid. And they're crossing over. So my body is fueling the matrix electric grid. Yet I am not allowed to participate. I just have to sit on the bench and, hey, watch all the bastard kids have all the fun. And they're trying to teach me lessons in reverence, empathy, and all these sorts of things, which is not justifiable. Because in the background is my estate's burning, the house is burning down. And then again, it's like the gangs of New York. You've got the firefighters are fighting over who's going to steal all the property rather than putting out the fire. Really, they're contests. That's the mean machines, like the longest yard. So you got the local mobs, and you got the local Paul Ball. You got the security. You got the various levels of cops or law in the area. that are fighting over who's going to steal what from my estate. The left, they're going to get the butcher's leavings, because the McMansions, the country clubs have already gotten the best cut. So now while my house is, so rather than helping me, I'm just stuck out on the sandbar on the Castaway Desert Island cast, Omega's cast, Bobby Jindal, the Untouchables. That's the Untouchables joke. Whereas it's and they're always playing it as reverent for Jesus. They're going to turn them Hindus into Jesus. Praise Jesus. Crazy. I mean, they don't even manage the lands that they have. That's what my whole premise is. They are terrible, terrible, crazy at managing what they have, yet they want to inflict the entire world. Well, because Jesus is a weapon and a charge card and a dope lab, and it's a cat house hookers. I mean, these people are crazy. I mean, they really, really are crazy. Their interpretation of this Jesus phenomenon, it's beyond. I mean, first of all, you got to let down the aristocracy. So where was I going with? Oh yeah, Castaway Omega's hack. There's a criminal intent of interpretation. So you've got all these public officials that are fighting over they're gambling. That's the Beau Rivage revenge for the gambling. So they're fighting over rather than putting the house fire out and letting us, they've locked us out on a Castaway Island while the family's being bred for hostages. We have no say in the matter. We are only just Muppet puppets. We don't get a voice. We're JB, so we do not get a voice in it. We just pay. Bitch warmers. The owner's revenge for the bride. So, torture to try and murder me by suicide because I was supposed to kill myself. And they are never wrong. So all those people that turn the other cheek or made me change because they are so special and so VIP important as their elevator, high heels, platform heels. I've got to chase them down and beg to be their friend so I can get some help to try to escape while they're fighting over stealing all my goods. So because I did not kill myself, they're making me pay. But in actuality, that's why they've got to figure out a way to make me pay because they are never wrong. That's the crazy part about it. Because I have justified not killing myself with these videotapes and with the writings online. Wow. So my survival. So how are they going to make me pay for this now? Is it torturing a mental illness? Obviously. Or, that's got to be the J.C. Lewis thing, which will drown the entire world. So now, to make me pay, they have to drown the entire world. It's got to be the only answer, right? When you think of these crazy mob gangbangers or whatever they are, I mean, it's just factions that I power. They are little fucking petty bitch bastards that pick my pocket, and they're so proud that they're plugged into me. Which is reverent again for all these bratty little kids. But they will not allow me to fix the system. I could fix the system, but they won't allow me because they're addicted to the dope and the hooch and the hookers and the playboy mentality. So they refuse to let me fix the system because they don't like change. I think they're afraid of change. Really, because there's so much on the line right now. So they've got to it's like they're trying to figure out, they're still trying to murder me by suicide. So they've mutated me. And it started years ago when I was tortured in New Orleans. It was alone, being alone, home alone, starved, bro. That's their Paul Blart, Mall Cop, Kevin McAllister. Home Alone is always part of the torture. They've really got it. It's like scrambled, Maxwell Hammer scrambled, beating me in the head. Your good old Steve Martin, absent-minder, wait, sir. because he serves you a meal and then he gives you it's not a very good meal. Let's look at society how crappy it really is. But then he gives you a lot of cash. That's what this is all about. The absent-minded wait. And so they tortured me in these bubbles as far as because of the criminal intent placed upon this Omega. It's like I said, they have a gun. They shot me with it many, many times. They had a spear. They speared me with it. Criminal intent of this tattoo and this interpretation. They wanted to inflict. That's why they had to get the cops involved. That's why the cops are involved. Is a bribe. That's why they had to get the bribe the politicians. Why the Bushes are involved. That SMU and my sister are so closely related, and they realize the Bushes are sacred because of the connection to the CIA. They're an old presidential family, blood, and they desperately need that in society. So they had. That's why they. That's probably why we ended up in Texas in the first place. Yeah, I mean we're talking about crazy. It was no doubt about it. They were going to. We were being the Manson family. My entire family was being killed, literally, and we had no say in the matter. We had to pay 100%. They're going to try. It's the Holy Family, I guess you would, as far as crystals that they were going to get to power their scam. It's like Congo. It really is. They found this lost city of Zen with this, and they have these huge diamonds, and they're powering these communication devices, these global communication devices, or lasers. So they're using us as these diamond crystals to power these communication devices. So they torture me right now. They've got to mutate. They're trying to find a weakness. Either that or they're trying to inflict permanent. It's like they got to drill into my brain. I'm paying for this is the dowry I got to pay for the communal mob here in Georgia for my sister's wedding. The Bait&Switch. They're trying to strong arm, manipulate the intent as far as. So yeah, they're drilling into my brain. They're really hacking. They're beating the hell out of me to try to inflict some permanent mental damage. So yeah, there are all sorts of variations. I mean, I'm surrounded by people, yet I don't really have much in common with them, and they don't. What I really need are some people that can help me social network on some certain levels of society to help me launch my project. I'm living around with a guy who works at the DPW on the grounds crew. Then again, that's the Jason Stackhouse revenge. And a guy who's a cook at Benny's. I mean, for the most part, these people cannot help me meet certain levels of, but I guess they're out of my league. Even though I pay for them, they're out of my league, right? Because I guess that's a bullshit Jesus. I guess I'm not privy enough to that brand of Jesus. That's where Jesus is a sham. This whole Jesus thing really is a scam. I do not. It's and that's again once you go and get into why Pope Francis for the poor. You've got a bunch of the fattest pigs in the history of the world. Literally the fattest pigs in the history of the world. They want more Jesus juice. They want more Jesus bread. Even though they are destroying the planet. As far as they're pillaging my estate. So yeah, they want me to wait on them, make them upgrade extra special platform high heels, Christian Louboutin, and but I'm not allowed to manage my estate, so they can send their dogs in to attack it and claim it for them, stake their claim, land claim, jump. So yeah, they've gotten very. In Aspen, I was tortured in one way. Well, I was always shy to a degree, but I've always had to chase people down and beg them to be my friend. That's because I was always kidnapped, and I was held captive. We have been kidnapped my life, no doubt about it. Or we've got to worship the precious, precious time we had with these sacred super friends sort of mentality, which then elevates them. And it's like the medieval knights and Cable Guy, or medieval knights. And this is what happens. So it's like there's a knight, and the crowds are behind these knights. So they've done this to my family, they've done this to my friends, and this is how the mob operates. And it's all based upon this gladiator mentality. So the mob plays sides. All they're trying to do is divide and conquer and keep the game going because they're getting paid. Because the game itself is paying the mob to get fatter, even though, and it's diverting assets. So you got certain factions of the mob are behind my sister. Certain factions of the mob pretend to be behind my mother. Certain factions of the mob pretend to be behind my stepfather. Whatever means necessary. They don't really care if they. That's why they keep it in the dark in these domes. The Truman Show got domes, and that's why they will not allow us to turn. They won't allow me to make all this evidence tangible. So yeah, and then also they've got friends of mine from the past. They follow them, and what they're trying to justify their existence as an equalizer. This is this is just one example of how things work. I went to see Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, and in New Orleans, and we were it was a big group of us, and some friends of mine had a pill, and we split it, and I split it with this guy Robert Wigger who lives here in Savannah. That's the only, and I didn't even know what it was. Where we were really going. So it ended up, and it was the only time I had taken that in my entire life. That's the only time I had taken that particular brand of anything that I don't even know what it was. So we got on, this is just an example. That was the only time. So for the rest of my life, that sharing of ecstasy, euphoria, ecstatic euphoria precedence, it's a dope lab. It really is. It's a distribution channel. That's honestly, and he works on he actually got his degree in turf grass management from LSU, which is a higher ranking school than me. And so he works on he works at country clubs as far as making sure they're in good condition. But the oxygen that's produced, in my estimation, is euphoric based upon this act precedence. So you got a bunch of this ecstasy oxygen and on these country clubs, in my estimation. Bizarre. Just one of the cases and of these interesting examples from my crazy past of how the mob operates. So, and the mob backs him, and he's from the area. I'm not from the area, even though my sister. So I am being haunted by him in order to, even though we were good friends, I cannot afford to have friends right now. I do not have a car. I do not have money. I've been tortured so long in order to invoke this mental image. They're trying to make me repulsive because I give away energy, magnetism. I am a big ball of magnetic energy. And what they did was they sent me to the glue factory. And so then I distribute all this glue to these idols who are then magnetic and Lulu in my place. So they have to turn me, that's where the whole inversion of Mega happens. They have to torture me to be repulsive. Or I have to wait, sitting on the bench watching all their kids play. I'm not allowed to play, but I pay. And I'm not allowed to cancel the lot. I have to pay. I'm forced to pay. Child support for all the sham bastard parasites. Yeah, I don't have kids. I'm not allowed to even date. I'm not allowed to have friends. I'm not allowed to have kids, but I have to pay for these parasites. like child support as being empathetic or whatever, as far as that sort of thing. That's where you get into your free religion, which is this is organized crime. Organized crime. It really is. No doubt about it. But they bribe enough of the cops with the beauty shop and all this trophy and all that sort of. They're rounders. It's like that the movie Rounders when they were playing and you had a bunch of kids. And that's really what happened. They had that big moose hanging on the wall and they were playing cards, but they were counting cards with the cops. And they're playing with the cop, and they really are. They're playing with the pension funds for this massive, massive party. They don't do anything about it. They seriously are, and yet I am not allowed to manage my estate. Trophy, and they are driven. I'm not saying the cops are guilty in any aspect. I'm saying it's a bribe, image bribe, or a beauty shop bribe, just like they bribe the politicians. Just like there are smart ways to bribe politicians these days, using because I have a lot of global power and global credibility. And so what they can do is to validate, they have to, by destroying my global estate and making the political system stronger, which is bad. That's why St. Louis, King of France, is there for a balance in the force. Church and state. They want it, the bribery is they want an extreme totalitarian machine worship, A&M, where you get into the Mars. So yeah, that's how they bribe politicians, by allowing the politicians to have no competition. It's totalitarian political machine. So the blood is thrown into the spam factor, the hamburger. That's where you get into Hamburger Planet. They're just throwing it into the Hamburger Planet and serving it at J.C. Lewis Public Health or the People Public School lunches. But nobody's paying. That's the thing. Accountability. There is no accountability. You get into, once again, you get into the Paul Blart Mall Cop revenge, because they don't pay on their credit cards. You're paying a bunch of these third-party posers who do not have a say. All they're doing, they do not pay for what they're creating. There is no pay because it is a global estate. I'm not talking about sure, the USA can do whatever they want. That's freedom. Free enterprise, I do not care. But when you start spending global assets, that's when I care. And by sabotaging me, it's like insider trading, that is spending global assets while my assets are being attacked, my estate's assets. That is spending global assets. I do not care about the United States free enterprise. The problem is the general accounting principles are destroying huge sectors of the economy. Eventually, it will haunt you. You do not care right now. Eventually, China loves the USA. Russia loves the USA. They really do. They love it. Even though they're on the same team. Russia is playing the bad cop role. USA is playing the good cop role right now. Europe's getting Hamburger Planet massacre. Seriously. Latin America, Hamburger Planet, Spam Factory massacre. Literally. That's what they're doing. It's terrible, stupid logic that will haunt them. It will massacre their kids. These country club kids are going to get massacred. They think they can keep this luxury, Price is Right lifestyle, Paul Blart Mall Cops going forever, but it's eventually have to. And they are not prepared for the future at all. They did not build anything. They just a bunch of playboy hunter golfers that wasted their. It's like they played too much golf. Did not prepare at all. And I'm trying to correct the system. They will not even allow me to correct it. They are so hooked on the Coco Bush Sugar Bowl, the free Coco Bush Sugar Bowl, that they will not, the chocolate, M&M Mars, Coco Bush Sugar Bowl, chocolate, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Golden Ticket, tailored mental dungeon acuity. Yeah, It's not the Hart, Shafter, and Marks. They're going to tailor a straight jacket. George Strait. Who love that Coco Bush free sugar bowl. Crazy. So, yeah, and they have to tailor the torture. Right now, it's a new type of torture. They want me to just hate life. As far, or they're trying, I don't understand it. I can tell you how to fix me, but they will not allow me what they want to fix me as cheap as possible because they have tortured me so bad in the past. They set up these precedences, then they have to play the precedences that they set up. It really it's a because I was beaten down so low and my mother is so crazy and we have been abused so long. See, my mother saved me when I was supposed to be homeless or die. My friends tried to kill me by being homeless or die. So I would kill myself. But I did not. And so they have to make my mother pay by driving her to look stupid or crazy. And so now she's been driven crazy to look stupid as far as taking me to public health, which is a massive, huge flaw in this whole scam. So now because I'm at public health, I have to have the worst possible health care, which is like living in this place where I'm living now, which is terrible logic. Terrible. But what I really need is to get control of my life, get some competent people to social network, then I can launch my businesses, and then, but I mean, this isn't gonna, I mean, it's a never-ending cycle, which is empathetic to their plight. Pat's Blue Ribbon, Lit Brewery, it's sort of lympathetic. Um, so yeah, this is some of the worst logic in the history of the world. I'm talking about trillions of dollars right now. There are trillions of dollars. When you look at global debt because of this crazy mismanagement, it's trillions of dollars, and this is a beauty shop. So you've got trillions of dollars that have been charged, yet they're trying to G down skateboard, surfing in the summer because they're in the position currently to try to do it. But what they're going to have to do is chop off the top 1 to 5%. Kill those super rich motherfuckers. Yeah, they are dead meat, in my estimation. They didn't do anything. I warned them, asked them. I gave them a plan to protect themselves. What they needed to do was build a bunch of principalities globally. Like Monaco, they needed to build 10 to 20 global principalities with balanced banking to offset and to protect themselves. But they did not. They should have turned Aspen into a global banking principality. But they tried. They're going to try to ride the storm out. They're going to get massacred, in my estimation. So that's where you get into these McMansions are looking pretty for now, but they will be hunted. There's going to be open season on them. They will be hunted. I give it 10 to 20 years. Yeah, it's going to be like Jackson Hole, super volcano, and the National Elk Refuge. They think the nation's going to protect. Oh, they're praying to their almighty God, the Coco Bush Sugar Bowl Chocolate Factory, or their almighty God, Ari Gold, Obama, to protect them, rather than having global options. They did not want, I provide global options, but they wanted their trophy because I got beaten so bad for so long and mismanaged. I got that Patty Hearst syndrome brainwash. They were trying to bury me. They were constantly trying to bury. I was given terrible, terrible options my entire life. But they're never wrong because Jesus forgives and Jesus saves, even though if it's criminal, organized crime. So they are never wrong. So they have to be right and I have to be wrong. So they have to look right and I have to look wrong for their solidarity. The problem is they do not, the Ascension is the the Sunshine Bridge Bait&Switch trading places. Luxury goods factory is the huge flaw in their logic. So that's once again where you get into this is why I have no problem with religion. I believe in all this sort of thing. I don't know what I believe anymore. I've been beaten up so bad. But yeah, it's cafeteria style, pick into fringe benefits for religion. We'll take a little bit of this. We're not going to take any of that. The Ascension is the big loophole, the buying your stairway to heaven. There was even a Louisiana economic development commercial. When I first arrived in Louisiana, in Savannah, the Louisiana Economic Development Foundation was running ads, lots of them, like 10 a day, on CNBC and Bloomberg, because I watch, probably why I don't have cable TV right now. These crazies here, they're untouchable here, the Savannah mob, the Dixon mob in Georgia. But yeah, so they ran tons of these ads. It showed a Coca-Cola assembly line can, which ties into the hanging chads that are trying to hang me, the Reynolds aluminum can factory, not to mention the sugar bowl that they don't pay for. So yeah, Savannah said, "Fuck you! We don't give a fuck about it. We're gonna steal. We got your sister. We kidnapped, and she is stupid because see, I'm not allowed. They've got to beat me down to be so pathetic. So my sister, my brother-in-law, wears the pants in the family because I don't know anything about it. I'm not allowed to know. I'm an outsider, the outsider, you know. I'm the greaser outsider. So yeah, they keep me so poor and pathetic and alone and tortured to where my sister turns her back on me. That's been the scam. That's how you brainwash them. That's a major league tomahawk chop scalping there. Timber, Louisiana Pacific Titans. So yeah, they tortured me to be so pathetic and tortured to where I am. They turn that is how that's their sugar bowl there. They got their sugar bowl, and they're not. I'm paying the dowry, which is the sugar. They got to extract it. It's real crazy. That's why they work. Their God Almighty is the Coco Bush gods. And they really is. Not to mention the Reese Jones ecstasy oxygenated fairways. Crazy. But yeah, I was preparing to. I was always. My entire life I was working towards certain things. The Gonzo sort of understanding, learning to be an artist, that's why they had to make me super uncool to prove that I am unprepared. I am never right. I am always wrong. So everything I tried to do, they get a rebuttal. That's why my entire life has been tortured as a rebuttal to be to be repulsive in order to produce the glue factory repulsive. Crazy. But the kidnappers rule, and they've bribed enough cops and they've bribed enough politicians to where they can get away with it. And the global has not done anything yet. And there's a standoff right now to see if the global do anything yet. So yeah, there were tons of these Louisiana economic development commercials. And there was also a Georgia state lot. See, the state lottery is run by the state police. And they have to try to do the right thing. This is also probably where you got the Atlanta. See, the mob hates the law, real law. They love their local, their buddies on the force. They're rent-a-cops. They're hood cops. They hate law. They hate and so the Georgia State Police, who runs the lottery, is trying to save because they've got to try to see. That's why they keep me kidnapped on the little bitty low, the down low, local in the hood. Yeah. As a drive to the bigger picture, local yokels, J.W. Peppers. There was also small town security. There was a TV show about small town security about it. This is where you get into the Honey Boo Boo revenge. You get into the revenge for the small town security going on here. I pay for everything. The $1 trillion free book beauty shop on me. Who cares? It's free sugar bowl. The Coco Bush sugar bowl. So yeah, they had this commercial where there was a big stack of cash in the woods guarded by a bunch of, there were some squirrels and some deer around this big stack, and they catch this hunter. So that's what they had to catch me here. So then the Atlanta Falcons were one of the best teams in the NFL. They turned into one of the worst because sports is a justifier. You can't sport the helmets. You understand? A helmet. But these are people are above. These are gods because of the Ascension. These gods here above it. Total power plant and then the JV St. Louis King of France infallible. It's the field of dreams, infallibility, symbiosis, ranks. So they had the Louisiana Economic Development Plan, and I ran 15 to 20 Craigslist ads, gotten zero help because I was dead broke. They do not understand. I do not care. My sister's crazy. My mother, she's crazy. They were kidnapped by the Texas mob, who is in cahoots with the Savannah mob, also trying to play this free religion card. So they should not be allowed to steer. I'm hogtied. We're talking. I got to town with $200, and we're trying to manage $1 billion global estate. Anybody they want can come up and stab or spear me. So I'm trying. The way I try to escape is Daniel Craigslist. I have to go try to get a bag for a penny job, which is then like being spread eagle to be fucked by anybody or stabbed or speared in order to share the wealth. Most people that have to go out and beg for a job. So when I got the joke of it, it's the joke of being special, VIP special, Cash Money Brothers, because I did not have any cash, which is all that the Paul Blart Mall cop revenge did not make me special. So I had to try to go out and make enough money because my stepfather does not care about anything except staying on the horse. His entire world is stay on the horse. Lone Ranger, the Texas Walking Ranger, they stay on their horse. He is fighting to the death. He will kill my entire family. Literally, he will destroy my sister's family to stay on the horse. Literally, the kid stays in the picture mentality. Same thing Baton Rouge did. The kid stays in the picture. It doesn't matter. They cannot afford it. They are literally the Manson, like the Charlie Manson family. Kill the entire family to stay on the horse. Prove they own the saddle. Rodeo Drive party. Free luxury goods at Tomahawk Chop Scouts. Reese Jones, ecstasy oxygenated fairway. Sort of mentality. It's crazy. But hey, what do you know? So, you've got then beauty shop for everything that ever went wrong. And then it goes into the Louisiana Economic Development Plan as far as they never allowed me to, they never did anything. And I guarantee it goes back to, they've even got, there were the lesson of special. And so the special is going to be a trophy. They're poachers for the most part. They want to hang us up as a special trophy on their wall for Jesus. That's another one of those Jesus cafeteria style loopholes. Poachers. That's all they are. We're gonna, if you're too big, Jesus will kill you for piety, and we're gonna eat you a bunch of wedges of pie. Well, they use a wedge to chop down my tree. Once again, criminal intent, because I was poorly mismanaged, blinded. They had the trials as you would. Are you kidding me? We're talking about trillions of dollars here. And you can bribe enough politicians, you can bribe enough boards of education, you can bribe enough unions, you can bribe enough cops. Sure, you can get away with it, but the legality of it is it's dangerous. But then you've got the magic health care. That's where this also ties into. You've got a fraud doctor in charge. So you've got a doctor of fraud who's got a doctor's degree in fraud. Therefore, so every other fraud under his traveler's insurance umbrella, caught guns to my head, extortion, Blue Cross Blue Shield, extortion. So every other fraud is then cured. Miracle! To be sainted. All saints, praise Jesus. And that's how crazy the whole scam is. All I was trying to do was to become relevant in modern times to manage my estate. But I'm not allowed to because I got to be repulsive, uncool, so I can, for the glue factory. So, once again, let's see. Universal universities. Oh yeah, the Bibles as a weapon. Oaths. Oh, the oath of office, or the oath. Whenever taking somebody swears on a Bible, so then that is a weapon. That is what's going on. Also, I think in estimation because of the monetary amount. That's where you get into a loophole of the poverty. So you've got these. Oh, I really wonder about the Bibles used in court. I think that's a weapon also. I honestly think that's another one of those big. So what Bibles used to swear in politicians and Bibles used to swear or court is a weapon. I think there's something truly, truly criminal going on there. I honestly think that is a huge weapon. That's also probably why it's tied into the whole using the civic legality against me is to the universal universities. Universities are horrifically mismanaged. So these 20 years that I've wasted in this prime time development when it should have been developing. So they are not allowing me to strategically plan. This goes back to they are destroying St. Louis King of France Cathedral and St. Louis King of France, St. Louis, Missouri. They are, but instead they are. It's the Anheuser-Busch cannery. Every sacred can, and that's why the dump is so sacred. I guess, or the recycling bin is so sacred because of the aluminum in you. Once again. So rather than developing my estate's assets properly for strategic development, universities are supposed to be a universal perspective of the world to manage a region, but they are not. The universities are a joke in this modern age. They are technical community colleges that are mass producing sacred individuals who are then justifying their existence with material girl, Paul Blart Mall Cop sorts of accumulations of goods. The problem is, once again, my estate is paying and they are not getting paid. It's slave labor. So you've got these. There's no real strength development hierarchy development at all. It's really poorly managed. And I don't even have the ability to. This is all theoretical speculation because I am not allowed the resources to. Once again, I've got to respect the capabilities. I've got to be handicapped to look stupid to justify stealing my wallet. They've got to justify stealing my wallet by incompetence. So I do not have the intellectual capabilities to make rational decisions. I mean, you got to once again blame it on the aristocracy who are incompetent, who think they're cats playing sides, where they're really losing. It's a cat house getting screwed from both sides. I mean, the system itself is just so antiquated and so polluted and so toxic. So tortured to try to create. They want to make sure they get me in the end. They ruin the middle. They ruin the middle, and they want to ruin the end of my life. It's like Michael J. Fox. They're gonna screw me one way or the other. I'm gonna get that Parkinson being. They're hoping the mob actually prays that I get some diseases. They pray that and so they're trying to create. And then again, it gets into this genetic propensity for creating. It justifies the mobs. It's all, but the whole key to this is exposed, vulnerable, massive estate that we are unable to. And then you've got the medieval times armies of darkness who were feeding on the incompetence or whatever. So, bizarro, incompetent world. Well, that might be enough for today.